Here's a question to ponder. Can working with your partner actually hold you back in your career? An article in Slate is urging Melissa McCarthy to stop making movies with her husband, Ben Falcone, saying that although she's a talented actress, she falls flat when he's directing her. So, I mean, that's a matter of opinion, perhaps, but would you be able to tell if a professional relationship with your partner wasn't actually working? Would you end that relationship? Riaz, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this.
Well, I think this hits home for me because my wife is an entertainment lawyer, so we've been working in the same industry, and in many ways, for years, I've said, "Look, I'm married up," and when you look at this example with Melissa and Ben, I think the most important question to ask is your partner challenging your idea or doubting your ability? And like, honestly, having worked in the television business for almost 2 decades, leaving, becoming self-employed, being an entrepreneur, my wife had some questions, but she never doubted my ability in the process. She's like the quality control that will push it up. And I think if you have someone that can call you up and not call you out and put you down when you need some help, that's a big part of it, to have that transparency and honesty. So I like the partnership, having the boundaries, but also having that transparency and honesty.
Mm. Ryan, what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's about the quality of work too, right? So, did you forget to put the oat milk away this morning? And might that be like a constant little jab at work? Like, what is the quality of work we're actually getting from each other at the workplace? So I think it can work, but the question of like, is her career in a stalemate because of her hubby, I think is an interesting one that we never ask like other actors that do bad movies, like Bruce Willis or Johnny Depp or Nick Cage or Adam Sandler. Like, let's investigate why they're in terrible movies as well. And it's kind of one of those things that like, I think she's doing fine, and if she wants to be in some bad movies with her husband, let her be.
I agree with you, Ryan. I do think this is a really interesting conversation. I'm glad you brought up the discrepancy there because it reminds me of what people have called in the past an Oscar curse, and it typically only applies to women. The examples cited are Reese Witherspoon, Julia Roberts, and Halle Berry. So for those three actresses, they won their Oscars, and then after, like, their marriages fell apart. And so in the media, there was this Oscar curse, like, the women were way more successful, and then did that affect their marriage because all of their partners were also in the entertainment industry? But you don't say that about Ben Affleck, right? You don't say that about the actors who win Oscars and then their marriages fall apart, because marriages fall apart in Hollywood all the time. But that Oscar curse was only applied to the women. But going back to Melissa and Ben, it makes me wonder, like, she is clearly the bold-faced headline maker in that couple, right? Like, Ben is not a household name. Melissa is. And it is an interesting question because all of her projects outside of him are great and well received. But all of her projects that she works on with him are not successes.
Okay,
and
well,
I wonder
Sarah,
what that pressure is.
Sarah on Facebook said, since when is her husband holding her back? They enjoy working together and creating together. And last I checked, they're pretty successful together. If they're happy working together, why can't people be okay with that? I mean, that is an interesting question. Like, I guess that it's true. I haven't seen, in full disclosure, I have not seen a single movie that these two have done together, but maybe that says something in and of itself. The one thing this did make me think of is the fact that, like, I know early on in my relationship with Jason, my partner and I work in the same business too. He's a DP, director of photography, and I work in TV. So they're sort of adjacent. And I felt like early on in our relationship, I could tell he had good taste. And how did I know that? I liked the way he dressed. I liked the music he listened to. We were interested in the same types of movies, and we found the same things funny. So I feel like I would trust him, and I trust his eye. And I just wonder if Melissa had that kind of, did she look and go, maybe she finds his stuff really funny, and it's just that the rest of the world doesn't.
Well, listen, I think I agree with you. If they're having a good time, amazing, and who cares how well the work is received. The only caveat to this, like the asterisk here, is they get funding, right? And she pulls probably in the funding. Like, when they're pitching an idea, the funding comes from the fact that Melissa McCarthy is associated with it. Now, if they keep making dud after dud, directed by Ben Falcone and written by Ben Falcone, and they can't attract money anymore, then that is something that is definitely going to affect them.